That was Csaba Deseö and Kadikaeleni playing a song called My Little Suede Shoes. And I'm going to tell you guys a story of how I heard that song, the original version of that song, on a Swiss radio. And it took me 2 months to find a copy of that song because it's, I think, arguably one of the rarest albums out there. So I'm going to tell you guys the entire story in this one-off TechAgent video. Now, I'm a huge jazz fan, and for a long time, I was one of those, gear guy. I need this, I need that. I was that kind of guy. And in any hobby, when you progress in that hobby or in a business, your perspective on things change. And for me, it was always, as I said, about gear, always about the new stuff. But now it has changed. Now it's all about the music. I am things change. Your perspective just changes, and for me it's always has been about music. And since I'm a huge jazz fan, I listen to a lot of internet radio because when I'm on the go, because my headphone listening time at my house is at night. I come home from work and it starts like my listening after all working out and stuff. It starts at like 9 o'clock and it ends at midnight. That's how much that's my usual listening time, and before that I'm always on the go. So internet radio has always been something I appreciate a lot, but I don't use streaming services like Tidal and all that stuff. I use independent internet radio, something like a Radio Swiss Jazz, probably one of the best jazz stations in the world. And I heard this song by Csaba Deseö called My Little Suede Shoes from his album called Tale. And I fell in love with that song. I was like, this is one of the greatest songs I've ever heard in my life. I was completely blown away by it. I scoured through the entire internet and I couldn't find anything. And it was heartbreaking because I needed that song in my life. I needed that in my library. And I contacted the radio guys. They said, because of distribution, problems and stuff, and obviously, because of the law, they cannot share. Even if I buy it from them, they cannot share that song. But even they searched through the entire internet. They said, sir, we tried finding that song, but we couldn't find anything else. Couldn't find anything relevant to that album or that song specifically. So even those, they helped me out significantly. But even they couldn't find what I was looking for. Well, that was the album, specifically that song. So after a month, the radio guys, they emailed me. They were like, hey man, we looked into your problem. We went to our heads at our company, and even they were keen on helping you out. So they were able to get me Csaba Deseö's personal email ID, which was quite an honor, to be honest. So I emailed Csaba Deseö, and at first of all, this is my first interaction with a real musician. I don't interact with musicians. I'm not a musician myself, so interacting with someone who you appreciate, whose music you appreciate, it is quite an honor in itself. So when I got Csaba Deseö's email ID, and when we were communicating, it was a real privilege, because you get to hear the perspective of musicians, and they're so happy because Csaba Deseö is not like, for example, he's not like David Bowie, where he's just known, and the amount of fame difference is so high that people, these small yet large musicians, they're left in the dust because nobody knows about them, and these people were there before the internet and stuff came. So it's even more of a unique experience talking to them, getting a perspective of them, and finding the album. So anyway, Csaba Deseö, he had a couple of copies of Tale, the album that I was looking for, and he, I PayPal'd him, he emailed me, and I got the CD in 6 days. So that was a good, that was a very smooth process. I was extremely lucky to find that. But the thing to the thing to keep in mind is that, just imagine, there's so many artists, so many musicians out there who want to get their music out there, and just in any field, just the population and just the overall people are increasing day by day. So it's harder and harder to for your work to get recognized. Just like Csaba, Deseö, I think he's one of the most underrated violinists out there, just like Eleni. But that's fine. I think that's fine. I think low fame with real followers, real people who appreciate your work is more significant than something which has no value in it. So I was, as I said, extremely lucky enough to get to talk to Csaba, Deseö personally, and it was a great privilege talking to him. I got my album. I also recommended Csaba, Deseö to upload and his entire discography on digital, because I said it's time to move on. It's time to put this on the internet, because the world is changing. You just have to do it, otherwise this music will be lost forever. Csaba, Deseö is an elderly person. Once he's gone, nobody is there to put up his music online. So I recommended that he puts, at least on iTunes. Even that works. Even CD Baby works. But anyway, I don't know what he's gonna do with that. But I just wanted to share this. It's kind of a weird one-off video. It kind of doesn't. It's not very. It's a very. It's very weird thing to make a video about. But I just had to make it. It was just a life experience that I thought was quite interesting. And since we are so involved in gear and in just getting the new stuff, I think people forget that's all. It's all about the music in the end. So if you're one of those guys who's in the gear and doesn't care about the music, I think it's time to reevaluate what you think about this hobby or a business or what have you. This spreads across all kinds of fields. What do you think about? Change your perspective. Let's that helps. I think that's gonna be a good thing for a lot of people. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time with more vintage headphones. I've got a lot of them, actually, more than 10 vintage headphone videos lined up. So I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, and like always, have a good one. All right.